For example, I want to identify this. Just you can see there is an option called it's not showing here. I think I have to pin it. So I didn't pin it. You have to pin that.
Sir, when I tried to download it, it was not available for the Chrome. That's what I was getting.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So what it is saying?
Extension is no longer available
Mm,
because it
this
doesn't like.
extension is no longer available. Okay. Then only selector sub is the one best one, and also which one you can see another one. Let me show you. So you right click here, copy. So you will get a CSS selector, you will get a XPath here also. So browser itself is going to give you XPath and CSS selectors. Okay, this is another way to identify the XPath and CSS selector. Let me copy this. See this, but this is going to give very big one. Yeah, see how much big it is, but it will identify that, right? So similarly, if you want no, let's go here. So for example, I want to identify this element. So you can just right click, so and copy CSS selector or copy XPath we want, right? Copy XPath, copy outer HTML, anything. Copy XPath, just paste it here. See, this down, it is going to give that. See, it is identifying that one. So it will be easy for you, right? So even you can use a selector sub. That's a good tool. No need to use any other. Browser itself is going to give you XPath and CSS selector. And if you don't know how to identify the element, you take help from browser, or you take help from CSS selector, or still you are not able to do that. You use the Catalan recorder and record it on that element. You perform the action, it will record, right? With a XPath and CSS selector, all will be shown to you. Right? For example, so you record the actions. So there will be a record option will be there here. Yeah, here it is. So you do the recording. So automatically the recording will happen and you perform the actions. Suppose I want to click on the jobs, right? So the Catalan recorder will keep recording that. See, it recording. So it automatically records that. What are the actions you are performing? Right, jobs. So like that it will record. So if you want, stop it, and then that will give you your object identification for that also. Okay, so this is the another way, but we don't need this Catalan recorder. These will give you automatically your object identifications or selectors. Okay, yeah. So that's all about object identification. Now let's move on to the Selenium. So where we left in the WebDriver, so architecture and what is automation, different components of Selenium, and advantages of Selenium we have seen, and disadvantages also we have seen. And now we need to see the architecture also, basic architecture we have seen. We have to see what are the Selenium features, Selenium 4 features. First it started with the Selenium 2, then Selenium 3. Selenium 3 was sometimes very popular, and then Selenium 4. Now the current version is Selenium 4.33, I think. So just go and check that. What is the Selenium version? So they will ask you what is the Selenium version you are using. So make sure you are aware of that. So 4.33.0 is the latest one. May 23 only they released this version. So if you want to know this all the API documentation. The documentation means their classes, interfaces, and functions. You can go to API docs and you can see this. This is the root package. org.openqr.selenium is the root package. So this is the root package, and you can get all the classes, interfaces, everything you will get it here, right? So these are the by class, and then cookie class, right? A dimension class. There are so many, and interfaces you can see here. There are so alert interface, capabilities. So there are so many, interfaces are there. Search context, and a WebDriver, take screenshot, WebDriver interface. So WebDriver is an interface. This root interface is search context. The parent of this WebDriver interface is search context. So all these known classes which are implementing this WebDriver is, so generally interface is implemented in the classes. So what are the classes implementing this WebDriver? Chrome driver, Chromium driver, Edge driver, Firefox driver, Internet Explorer driver, Remote Web driver, Safari driver. These are all the classes which are implementing WebDriver methods. So what is these classes? Each browser has one browser driver class. It's like Chrome has a Chrome driver class. So you know class naming conventions, right? So what are the class naming conventions? So what are class naming conventions?
So first letter of each word should be capital letters.
Right, that's what they followed. So for Chrome browser, what is the class name? You have to use Chrome driver. If you want to run your test case on the Chrome browser, so which class object you need to create? Chrome driver class object you have to create. If you want to run on Chromium driver, you have to create object for Chromium driver class object. So Edge browser, if you want to run, you have to create object for Edge driver. If you want to run on Firefox, you have to create object for Firefox driver. If you want to run on Internet Explorer driver. If you want to run a remote web server, remote servers, remote web driver, and Safari browser, Safari driver. So these are all the classes which is implementing the interface. This is the root interface, and this parent is search context interface. Search context interface. So WebDriver is a remote control interface that enables introspection and control of user grants. So user agents. User agent means these are all browser agents. And so control of the browser itself, selection of web elements, debugging. So aids will be helpful by this WebDriver interface. So they will ask, what is WebDriver? WebDriver is an interface in Selenium. So which package it is available? org.openqr.selenium. This is also asked. So what is the WebDriver package? And you have to say org.openqr.selenium is the package for this WebDriver. And WebDriver is an interface which is implemented in all these classes. Already done. The implementation part is done. You don't need to worry about that. So now you need to consume that. How to consume an interface and their classes? What is the mapping? How you can map the interface and their implemented classes? If you want to use that methods, what is the procedure?
Use the implement keyword.
Yeah.
You already done, right? Implementation is done here. You don't need to do again implementation. Implements keyword when you will do, if you want to implement the web interface methods. But here the implementation part you don't need to do. It's already done. Everything ready made. You need to consume now. How can you use that? The interface concept. Mostly I explained all these points in the interface concept. With examples I have explained that. So how can you consume that interface, that implementing classes? The methods, for example, I implemented all WebDriver methods here, right? I want to use that methods. So I want to launch my Chrome browser. So how you can write the code? That's what my question. I don't know whether you understand the question or not.
So by creating the object for the interface WebDriver and then use the
You should
method.
not create object for interface. That's what I told, right?
So the
Any
implementing
abstraction
class,
process. Ah,
the implementing, if the Chrome browser is the implement driver is the implementing class, then we have to create an object of that.
exactly. Absolutely, you're right. So the implemented class you have to create object by pointing to that interface on the left hand side, right? So interface reference variable equal to new implementing class. This is the formula I have given there. So now here interface is a WebDriver, right? Interface is a WebDriver. So you have to write like this. So interface, let me give you the formula. Reference variable equal to, this is the first line of code you are going to write in the implemented class. So what class it is? So there are a number of classes it is implementing this interface, right? Now example WebDriver. So I want to launch my Chrome browser. So what is the syntax you have to write? WebDriver. So driver equal to driver my reference variable new. So I want to launch Chrome browser. What is the class name for Chrome browser?
Chrome driver.
Chrome drive.
Chrome driver. Guys, please remember every browser name just appends with a driver keyword. That's it. Chrome driver. So you followed the class naming conventions. That's it. Now Chrome browser will launch with this single line, empty Chrome browser. So what this line will do? This will launch the empty Chrome browser for you. So understand this line is a very special. So interface, that interface reference variable is pointing to the implemented class object. They will ask what is meant by WebDriver driver. So WebDriver is an interface that, so the driver is a reference variable which of type WebDriver interface type and which is pointing to the implemented class object. So it can be Chrome driver, it can be Firefox driver, it can be Chromium driver, it can be Edge driver, it can be Safari driver, it can be remote web driver, anything that which classes implementing this interface. That classes you are creating the object. So what this line will do? This will launch the empty browser. Which browser now here? Chrome browser will launch for you. You don't just writing this line of code, automatically your browser will launch when you run the code, right? So that is the power of this line. Any doubts on this? Any questions on this? Like that, so you replace with a different browsers. If you want to launch another browser, so WebDriver driver equal to new, so Edge driver. So this will launch Edge browser. So and so on, right? It depends on which browser you want to do that. So this is the first line of code you will write in your Selenium WebDriver class. Are you all clear? I'm removing this because this syntax I have given. Then how can you access all the methods? So there are methods. There are methods. So how can you access methods? This reference variable dot. So what is the reference variable here? Driver. So driver dot the methods. So all the methods I have given to identify the web element. Which method I have used? Hmm? The object identification I have shown you, right? Which method I have
Get
used?
element.
Huh?
The
What is that?
get
Get
element.
element. I never used get element method.
Sir, while by calling the object, we
This is the object reference. Driver is the object reference. And I have used one method to identify the web element, right? In the object identification time, I have shown you WebDriver syntax. How to identify the web elements in WebDriver. Find element method. I think your practice is very low. Nothing. Nil, I think. That's why you are not able to answer all these questions. Find element method. See how meaningful it is. Driver means browser object. On that browser, you are finding the element by ID and ID value. But this one returns. So what it returns? It returns a web element. Did I explain this or not?
yes, sir, you did. Instead of I said find get element, sir. Find element I meant, but I said get
Yeah.
element.
So this is the predefined function. We should not change this. So find element method. See, finding. So how meaningful. You are finding the element in this browser. First see browser. In the browser you are finding the element by ID, that ID value. So that is returning a web element interface. A web element is another interface, and that type you write here, the what element it is representing. This entire thing is representing this element. So this is the reference variable for this web element, right? So this is all the methods you can access with this driver object reference. So you have so many methods. So we'll discuss all those methods one by one. So guys, these are all basics. Please focus these things. So I'm going to show you now all the methods. So here are the methods. So there is a get method here. So one more function, get method. So the get method is used to launch your application URL. If you want to open your application, there is a get method. So can you see here? Void get method. It loads a new web page in the current browser window. What you need to pass? You have to pass URL parameter. So what is the data type of this parameter? What is the parameter of this data type? URL parameter data type?
It's a string.
String. So what is the parameter of this by?
It's a class, sir. Class name.
What is the class? You should
By
not tell that class are. You should say what is the class name. Exactly, you have to say class name.
by class.
By class, right? So the by parameter data type is a by class. And see the URL data type is a string type. So like that, so this method will launch your application URL. So you call driver dot get and the URL you give. So http facebook.com or http linkedin.com, which website you want to open. So then this method will launch your application URL. Then I want to get that, so the browser title. So call just driver dot get title. So what is the return type of this method? A string type it returns. So how can you call the return type methods? What is the syntax? How can you call return type methods?
Data type variable is equal to if it is a non-static,
Non-static. These are all non-static only. Interface means only non-static methods, right?
yeah,
So you can do overriding only with non-static methods. You cannot do without non-static, right?
yeah, the reference variable dot instance method.
Okay. So that's the formula you have to use the return type methods. So this gets the title of the current page. Get current URL. So it fetches the current page absolute URL. This absolute URL, if you want to get it, you have to call this method get current URL. Get page source. This page source HTML source code if you want. So you need to use get page source method. If you want to know this window ID, this every page has a one unique UID. This has one unique UID. This has one unique UID. You want to get current window unique UID. So you get window handle method you have to use. And there is a get window handles. See how many tabs opened here? All the tabs IDs you want, you need to call get window handles. But what is the return type of this get window handles? Set collection. The plural method. This is the singular verb. This is the plural verb. What is the difference between these two? Just tell me by seeing that what is the difference you are observing here and here.
There's a
What
single
Is added.
yes is added, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
the one. So for one verb, if it is no s is adding means what is mean by that? For verbs in general grammatical no English grammar I'm asking. For your verb, singular verb, if it is adding a yes or es, what will happen that?
It's plural. It's many.
It's plural, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the same here. So this will give you the single window ID and this will give you a collection of window IDs. Collection means these are all collection, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know how many. If you don't know the count, so where you will store the, if you don't know the number of objects, so you will store in the collections, right? If you know the size, you will store where? If you know the number of
Array.
elements size, you will store where? Which concept you will store?
Array.
Array. If you don't know the size, so dynamically you want to store, where you will store? Which Java concept is giving that provision to store dynamically elements, all the objects? Collection. So now see this get window handles is going to store in the set collection. The return type, see the return type also they have given very clearly. Set of string. Every element it is fetching, that is a set of string collection they will store. See the return type also they have given here, whether it is a void or whether it is a return type. See find element method. Find element method is finding only one element, that is a web element it is giving. See there is a plural again here. So plural means again you got the point, right? What will happen? Find elements. It identifies many web elements. And where it is storing? Where it is storing? What is the return type of this method? Find elements method return type.
list
List of web element.
element.
List of, that means it is fetching list of web elements. Return type methods, all these are return type methods. See close method. Close method, what it will do? It closes the current window. You need to call this driver.close, driver.get, driver.get current URL, driver.get page source, driver.get title, driver.get window handle, driver.get window handles. And there is a navigate method, manage methods. I'll explain this later. Quit method. So the quit method is, it quits all the browsers, all the tabs or windows will be closed by this quit method. So driver.quit you have to call. What is the difference between close and quit? Close will
Yeah.
close the current window, only one window where you are. Now I'm in this window, right? Only this will close. If I call driver.close, this window will close. Then if I call driver.quit, all these tabs will close. Entire driver session will be closed. That's the difference between close and quit. So one of the powerful interview question. And another one, what is the difference between get window handle and get window handles? Let me give you, I just given uh, the word wise the difference, but the exact meaning I haven't given, right? So get window handle will get the current window ID, this window ID. Get window handles will fetch all the open window IDs and stores in the set collection. And get window handle will fetch a string type data. Get window handles will fetch set of string values. That's a difference, right? First to tell the definition, what get window handle will do, what get window handles will do. Get window handle will do the current window ID it will fetch, and you can store in the string type of variable. So get window handles will fetch all the open window IDs that are opened by WebDriver, not by you. If WebDriver opened multiple windows, all window IDs it will fetch and stores in a set of string collection. So that's the difference you have to give. And another very important one, find element method and find elements method difference. Find element method will identify a single web element, and find elements method will identify a group of list of elements. And the return type of find element is web element. A return type of find elements is a list of web element collection. See, I told you already the generics type. So this is the list generic, right? Angular bracket, if you specify the web element, all the web elements are list of elements are type web element. So here all the window IDs of type string type, the set collection. So set Angular bracket, this is the generic type. So I told you already, yes, in the generics topic in Java. So the WebDriver plural methods will return a collection. See, one method returning a set collection, one method returning list collection. Like that you will see many. Okay. So all these methods I have given. So tomorrow I'm going to write a program and we'll see that using these methods. And switch to method, I'll explain that later. Okay. So, and then we have to progress on the Selenium 4 features. Tomorrow I'll start this Selenium 4 features and the methods. First we'll write the program and then we'll go for this Selenium 4 features. Okay, so that's it, guys. Please go through this, and all this you can find out. So in our blog here, so if you go down, so where you can find all those methods, and you can see here. So just scroll down. Sorry. So you can see here February 2020. See, WebDriver browser commands. That's what I have given with the syntaxes I have provided nicely. See that? WebDriver browser commands are methods. See, browser methods. Get of URL. It opens the given URL, and I have given syntax also. See, driver.get of URL. Go and read this, and I'm going to put it in our Slack channel. Okay. See, with the syntaxes I have given. Get title, what it will do. This method, it fetches the current page title and returns a string type data. See, the with the syntaxes I have given. String, return type, the variable, and the object reference dot the get title method. So then I'm printing that. So get current URL, it fetches the current page absolute URL, it returns a string type data. So string abs URL variable equal to driver.get current URL. Get page source method, so it fetches the current page source code. So, and string source code equal to driver.get page source method. So all these methods you can call on that driver variable, because driver is the browser. So because this is all browser data, not web element. Still we are not going for the web element. get window handle. It returns the current window ID. So return type is a string type data. String PID equal to parent ID equal to. This will fetch the current window. Current window means this is the parent window. That first parent window will be there. Driver dot get window handle. So get window handles. So it fetches all open window IDs into set type collection. See that? Set string handles equal to driver dot get window handles. And close method, it will closes the current window. How to call this? Driver dot close, because this is a void method. And quit method, so it closes all the associated windows. Driver dot quit. So read this, and you need to explain properly. I will watch this video so from everyone. Okay, so make sure you complete this task and repeat this continuously 1 week, and you won't forget all these methods because we are going to use them in the coding, right? So this is the one I'm going to post in our Slack channel. Okay. Yeah, thank you guys. See you tomorrow.